Hello all, welcome to another session in this course. As part of this session, I am going to cover the next topic, that is two-dimensional arrays in JavaScript. So let's get started. So in one of the previous sessions, I explained you about the arrays, which are single dimensional arrays here. Now I'm going to cover about the two-dimensional arrays. So what are two-dimensional arrays? What are two-dimensional arrays in JavaScript? Okay. So in JavaScript, there are no inbuilt two-dimensional arrays. In JavaScript, we don't have any inbuilt two-dimensional arrays, but we can create two-dimensional arrays in JavaScript. Though by default or by inbuilt, there are no two-dimensional arrays in JavaScript, but still we can create two-dimensional arrays in JavaScript. That's the first thing that you need to know. So, for example, if I want to create a single dimensional array, as I covered in the previous session, I'll be creating like this. Let AR is equal to, we have to create a square bracket, and inside square bracket, I'll be giving the elements of the array like this. This single dimensional array. This is nothing but a single dimensional array in JavaScript. Single dimensional array in JavaScript will look something like this. Now, what about the two-dimensional array? What exactly is a two-dimensional array theoretically? Theoretically, if I have to explain, two-dimensional array is an array of single dimensional arrays. Okay, what are two-dimensional arrays? Two-dimensional arrays is nothing but an array of single dimensional arrays. That means here in a single dimensional array, if you see the elements, these individual elements are not arrays. They are normal numerical numbers or some kind of normal elements here. They are not arrays. Here 9 is not an array. It's a normal element. Here 5 is also not an array. It's a normal number. 1 is also not an array. It's a normal number. 7 is also not an array. It's a normal number. Now coming to the two-dimensional array, it is an array of single dimensional arrays. Two-dimensional array is an array of single dimensional arrays. That means, so this is a, let's assume that this is a two-dimensional array. Let's assume that, okay, let's assume that this is a two-dimensional array. And here, let's assume that there are three slots in this two-dimensional array. In this two-dimensional array, there are 1, 2, 3 slots. Okay. In that, the first element is not a normal element like here explained like 9. It's not like 9. Here element is nothing but a single dimensional array having some elements like this. Okay. Again, what about this one? The second slot is also containing the element as a single dimensional array. Okay. So like this, I'll create a single dimensional array. Now third one is also a single dimensional array. So here in a normal single dimensional array, each and every element which is separated by comma here is nothing but a normal element. 9 is a normal element, it's not an array. 5 is a normal element, it's not an array. 1 is a normal element, it's not an array. 7 is a normal element, it's not an array. But coming to the two-dimensional arrays, here, let's say this is the array. In this, each and every element of the array is again a single dimensional array. So this is called as a two-dimensional array. Some people will represent two-dimensional arrays like this. Okay, some people will represent the two-dimensional arrays like this, where each and every element of the array is a single dimensional array. So this is called as a two-dimensional array. Okay, what if instead of drawing this two-dimensional array, the main two-dimensional array in a horizontal manner, what if I draw this in a vertical manner like this? Vertically. Okay, instead of horizontal like this, I'm drawing it vertically, where here how many slots are there? 1, 2, 3. So these, let's say this is the first slot, this is the second slot, and this is the third slot. Okay. So here I have the drawing or representation of the two-dimensional array is like this for conceptual wise. Okay, concept wise. But a lot of people also represent this 2D array like this. Instead of horizontally drawing this two-dimensional array having three slots here, we are vertically providing the slots. Here slots are provided horizontally. The same diagram twisted here with a vertical order of two-dimensional array. Here each and every element of the two-dimensional array is not a normal element like 9 or something. Rather it is a, okay, this first element of this 2D array is a single dimensional array having 4 elements. Okay. The second single dimensional array of this 2D array also having, let's say, 4 elements. Assume that. Now, third single dimensional array of this two-dimensional array is also having, is nothing but having, is nothing but a single, this is the first single dimensional array, second single dimensional array, third single dimensional array. So how many uh, single dimensional arrays are there in this 2D array? There are 3 single dimensional arrays in this two-dimensional array, right? The 2D array is a array of single dimensional arrays where each and every single dimensional array will have multiple elements. So like this, guys, like this, you can represent like this, or you can represent in this tabular format like rows and columns you can represent. Okay, clear now? So here you need to understand that, assume that this is 0th index. Okay, the 2D array main array is having the 0th index. Here 1, here 2. Total 3 single dimensional arrays are there. In 2D array, totals 3 single dimensional arrays are there. 1, 2, 3. The first single dimensional array is having the index 0. Second single dimensional is having the index 1. Third single dimensional is having the index 2. In that, each and every single dimensional array, in the first single dimensional array, again, the individual elements will have the index like 0, 1, 2, 3. Second single dimensional array, which is having the index 1 in the main array, is individual elements of that second single dimensional array is having the index like 0, 1, 2, 3, like this. Okay. Here also 0, 1. Third single dimensional array having the index 2, its elements are having the indexes again like 0, 1, 2, 3, like this. Now what about this diagram? This is the first single dimensional array. This is the first single dimensional array, right? Which is having the index 0. Okay. The first single dimensional array is having the index 0. Second single dimensional array is having the index 1. Third single dimensional array is having the index 2. In the first single dimensional array, the individual elements will also have the index as mentioned here like 0, 1, 2, 3, 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay, here also 0, 1, 2, 3, here also 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay, 0, 1, 2, 3, like that. Okay, remember like this. Now, how to create a two-dimensional array? Inbuilt, there is no two-dimensional array in JavaScript inbuilt. Okay, so you can understand more details here. I'll just copy these notes and open this here so that we can have the notes as a reference to understand the two-dimensional array and how to create that and how to access that. Okay, by default inbuilt there is no two-dimensional array, guys. Okay, two-dimensional arrays in JavaScript are essential arrays of arrays. They are useful, but JavaScript does not have built-in support for true multi-dimensional arrays like some other languages like Java or C Sharp. We have some 2D arrays, but we can simulate. Okay, though inbuilt 2D arrays are not there in the JavaScript, unlike Java or C Sharp languages, but in JavaScript you can simulate them using the nested arrays. You can simulate them using the nested arrays. How to simulate them using the nested means array inside the array, right? So first you create an array. In that individual elements you make them as, instead of individual elements you make them as single dimensional arrays. Okay, elements of this the outer array are nothing but the single dimensional arrays. Then this array will become a 2D array. Simple, right? So here we have to write like this. Let AR is equal to square bracket. In this, you create the array elements like this. Okay, first element is an array. Okay, then second element of this main array is an array again. Then third element of this array is also an array. Okay, like this, using this concept you can create a 2D array. For example, here 9 comma 5 comma 1 comma 7, here 6 comma 0 comma 8 comma 2, here 4 comma 9 comma 5 comma 3. Okay, how many are there? How many here each and every element of this array is nothing but a single dimensional array. Then we can call this as a 2D array. This is a two-dimensional array. This is a two-dimensional array. Two-dimensional array. Okay, what is a two-dimensional array? If you represent the array like this, it is a two-dimensional array. Okay, this is a 2D array, guys. Okay, this is a 2D array. So let's go here and see. That is a two-dimensional array. Let AR is equal to like this. It is an array of single dimensional array. See, single dimensional array where multiple elements are there. Each and every element is not an array here, normal elements, but in 2D array, each and every element is an array, single dimensional array. Okay. So hope you got it right. So now let's practically, so what will happen if I create this 2D array like this? Let A is equal to the first array, which is having the index 0. Okay. Here it will be there 9, 5. This is the first array. In this 2D array, this is the first array 9, 5, 1, 7. By using this nesting concept in JavaScript, we can create a 2D array. But inbuilt, there are no arrays, no 2D arrays. We have normal arrays, but 2D arrays are not there by default in JavaScript, but we can nest them and create a 2D array like this. Okay. Then here 4, 9, 5, 3. Okay, like this. So if I want to access this array elements, if I want to access this 9, first I have to refer to the first single dimensional array where this 9 is available. This single dimensional array is having the index 0. In that, there are 4 elements. First element, which is 9, is having the index 0. So AR of 0, 0 I have to give. Like that, guys. Okay. If I want to access this 8, 8 is where in the second single dimensional array, which is having the index 1, and first element, third element, first element, second element, third element is having the index 2. So AR of 1, 2, like that. Okay. Like that, we have to access the individual elements of this 2D array. And also we can use traditional for loop and for each loop. Traditional for loop and for off loop, which is designed for arrays in JavaScript. So all this I'm going to demonstrate practically for you. So theoretical concepts are enough, right? What exactly are two-dimensional arrays and how to create the two-dimensional arrays in JavaScript. I just showed you, right? So let me do one thing. Let me delete all these files. We don't need them. Let me delete them. Let me freshly create a new JavaScript file and say 2D arrays.js. Like this I'll create, and here I'll write let AR is equal to create a square bracket, and in this again use square brackets. Okay, here there are 3 single dimensional arrays in this 2D array, and each and every single dimensional array we have multiple elements, right? Like this. This is a 2D array. Okay, here what is a 2D array? Array which is containing the individual elements also as an array is called as a 2D array. So what I will do here is I'll write I want to access this array elements. I want to access this individual array elements. How to access the individual array elements? How to access the individual array elements? Console.log here of square bracket. If I want access from the first element of this 2D array, which is a single dimensional array, this single dimensional array, if I want to refer, I have to give AR of 0. Then in that, if I want to access the first element, 0, 1, 2, 3. So 0 here. Okay. What will be accessed? 9 will be accessible here. Okay. 9 will come here. Then console.log AR of, if I give 0 means first single dimensional array out of this 3, first single dimensional array. In that, if I give the 1, 1 means 0, 1, 5 will be accessible. Okay, then console.log AR of 0, AR of 0, 2 if I give, 0 is this one, 0, 1, 2. Okay, then we'll get 1. Console.log AR of 0, then here I'll give 3. Here I'll give 3. 0, in that 0, 1, 2, 3, 7. 7 will come here. Okay. Then next one, console.log AR of 1, 1, 0. AR of 1, 0 means this is 0, this is 1. Okay. In that 1, 0 means 6 will come. 1 means index 1. Second array will have the index 1. In that index 1, index 0 means 6. Okay. 6 will be accessible here. Okay. Then console.log AR of 1, 1. AR of 1, 1 means 0. This is 0. This is 1. In that 1, again 1 means 0 and 1. That is 8 will be accessible. Then console.log AR of 1, 2. That means here in this 0, 1, 2, right? 2 will come. Then console.log AR of 1, 1 means 0 and 1. That is second element of this two-dimensional array. In that, I want to access 3. 3 means 0, 1, 2, 3. Third index, 4. 4 is coming here. Okay. Then console.log AR of 2. 2 means 0, 1, 2. Index 2. This third single dimensional array. In that, If I give index 0 means it will take the first element, that is 8 will be accessible here. Okay, 8 will be accessed from the two-dimensional array. Air of 2, 2, and here if I give 1 means what will happen in this case? Air of 2 means 0, 1, 2. In that 2, 0, 1, 5 will come. Okay, 5 will come. Then console.log air of 2, 2. If I give air of 2, 2, what will come? 0, 1, 2. In that 2, 0, 1, 2, 3. 3 will come. Then console.log air of 2, 3, third index, the third array, third index 0, 1, 2, 3, 9 will come. That's it. Like this, using this console print statements, we can access each and every element of this 2D array. Let's run this. In order to run this, guys, I think I need to just make it big. Node 2 hyphen d hyphen arrays.js. Okay, and press enter. You see, all the elements of the array should be printed. First one is 9, then 5, then 1, then 7. Okay, 9, 5, 1, 7, 9, 5, 1, 7. Then 6, 8, 2, 4, 6, 8, 2, 4. Yes, 6, 8, 2, 4. Then last one, 8, 5, 3, 9, 8, 5, 3, 9, 8, 5, 3, 9 got printed. This is how we can access the individual elements of the array. Now I'll create one more file, 2 hyphen d hyphen arrays hyphen 2.js. I'll copy this code. I'll copy the same code and paste it here. I'll remove this print statements. Instead of that, I want to use a traditional for loop. So you already know how to, okay? So we can use traditional for loop first, okay? First, I want to show you how to use traditional for loop with this 2D arrays. For that, I'll use for let. How to do this? For let I is equal to 0, okay? I less than the size of the two-dimensional. How many single-dimensional arrays are there in this 2D array? There are 1, 2, 3. So I have to give size as 3. Then I plus plus. Okay. In that, I have to create a nested for loop. Okay. This outer for loop, I have to create a nested for loop like this. And in this nested for loop, I'll write let j is equal to 0, j less than. Here, how many elements are there in this individual single-dimensional arrays? 4. I'll give 4 here. Semicolon j plus plus. And here I'll simply write down console.log. Here I'll write down AR square bracket. In the first square bracket, I'll provide this I. In the second square bracket, I'll provide this J. Then what will happen in this case? Now, you see, for let I is equal to 0, index 0, 0 less than 3, which is true. Here 0. Index is 0, 0 less than 3 is true. We'll go inside this external for loop and we'll go into the internal for loop where j is equal to 0. Here now j is also 0. 0 is less than 4. Here 0, I is 0 and j is also 0. 0 less than 4 is true. We'll go inside this and it will print AR of 0, 0. What is AR of 0, 0? AR of 0 is this one. In that, first 0 means this 9. So 9 will be printed. 9 will be printed. After that, end of the inner for loop, j plus plus, j will become 1. 1 less than 4 is true. We'll go inside that. I is still 0. AR of 0, 1. What is AR of 0, 1? This is 0. In that 1 means 0, 1. That is 5. Then j plus plus, j will become 2. 2 less than 4. True again. Come down. I is still 0. J is 2. 0, 2. What is AR of 0, 2? AR of 0 is this one. In the 2 is 0, 1, 2. That is 1. The next one, j will become 3. 3 less than 4 is still true. Go inside. AR of I is still 0. J is 3. AR of 0, 3 is 0. In that 0, 1, 2, 3. 7. 7 will come. Then j will become 4 here. 4 less than 4 is false. Will come out of the inner for loop. And from here, in ending of the external for loop, we'll go to I plus plus. I will become 1 now. 1 less than 3 is 2. Again, we'll go inside for second time. Then j is equal to 0. J got reset from 4 to 0 now. 0 less than 4. True again. Go inside. AR of 1, 0. 1, 0. What is AR of 1, 0? AR of 1 is this one. In that 0 is 6. So 6 will be printed. Then next one, j plus plus. J will become 1 less than 4. AR of 1, 1. AR of 1, 1. AR of 1, 1 is 8. 8 will be printed. Then next, j will become 2. 2 less than 4, which is true. Go inside. AR of 1, 2 is 1. In that 0, 1, 2 is 2. Done. Then j plus plus, j will become 3. 3 less than 4 is true. Come down here. AR of 1, 3. 1 is this one and 3, 0, 1, 2, 3. 4 will be printed. Then j will become 4 here. 4 less than 4 is false. Will come out of this inner for loop. I plus plus, I will become 2. 2 less than 3. True again. Go inside. J again will become 0 here. Then j is equal to 0, 0 less than 4, 0 less than 4, true, air of 2 0, I is 2, j is 0, 2 0. 2 0 means 2 means this one, 0 1 2. Okay. Third single dimensional array, in that 0 means 8. 8 will be printed. Then j will become 1, 1 less than 4 is true, go inside, air of 2 1, 5 will be printed. Then 2, 2 less than 4 is true, come down, air of 2 2, 2 2 means this is 2, 0 1 2, 3 will be printed. Then 3, pair of 2 3, this is correct only. 2 3 means this is 2, in that 0 1 2 3 9, last element 9 will be printed. Then this will become 4, 4 less than 4 is false, will come out of the inner for loop. Then I plus plus I will become 3 here, 3 less than 3 also false, external for loop also will come on outside. So all the elements of the array will be printed now. Okay. So let's go here and go to the terminal here and just write down new terminal and just write down node. Okay, just write down here node space 2 hyphen d hyphen arrays dot sorry hyphen 2 dot js. Run this. You see all the elements of the array got printed. 9517, 6824, 8539, 8539. All the elements of the 2D array got printed. But the problem here is I don't want the elements to be printed like this. Rather, I want the elements to be printed in this rows and columns, because a lot of people will be printing the 2D arrays in the output in this format. So how to do this? How to do this? Okay. So for that, every time you print, we are going to the new line, right? We need to find out a way in JavaScript where we can stay in the same line. So what is the code we have in JavaScript where, how to print and stay in same line in JavaScript. We have to find this. Okay. How to print and stay in same line in JavaScript. Okay. Do we have any kind of stuff here like so console.log is printing and going to new line, but I want to print in same line. So there is another way. Let's see. Process.standardout.write is kind of thing is there. Then okay. So you have to write like this. Process.std.write off is one way they are saying. You have to use the write method here, or you can use this logic also. This logic is also fine, guys. Okay, this logic is also fine. So I also thought about this logic, or we can try this method also. Okay. So let's try this method and see what is happening. First of all, process dot standard output dot write. So here instead of this, I'll write process dot, sorry, process. It's not coming. Process. What is that? Process dot. I think this is there or not. I don't know, but let me try this. Is there process dot standard output dot write of this AR of I. Let's see what will happen here. So let's not worry about this. Let's comment this part and run this code to see what exactly the problems are coming. Then we'll see. You see error is coming, invalid type or something is coming. So what I have to say, to string I have to say. Okay, I have to convert this into string and then try this out. Okay. You see all the elements are printing in a same line now. Okay. You see if you want to print in the same line, there are multiple ways. This using logic also I can do, or I can use this JavaScript thing known as process.standardoutput.write if I do. And I have to convert if their numbers are there, I have to convert them into string to print. Write method will only print string. So here we can write method cannot be used to print the numbers directly. The numbers you have to convert to string and print using the write method. Okay, that's one thing. Air of ij dot to string. Okay, this will print the things in the same. Okay, so all the elements got printed in same line, but you see this 9 5 no gaps are there in between this number. So what I can do here is I can use concatenation and give a space here. Okay, now run this and see what is happening. You see 9 space 5 space 1 space 7 space 6 space 8 space 2 space 4 space, everywhere space is coming. Now after the inner for loop, I'll write the code like this. Okay, that is console.log. So I'll not print anything. whenever this inner for loop completes the 4 iterations, that is after printing 9157, right? Before going to the external for loop, it will take you to the new line. Okay, it will not print anything, but it will take you to the new line because of console.log. Again, after printing 6824, again it will take you to the new line. Console.log will be executed and it will take you to the new line. Then again inner for loop will print 8539 and then console.log will go to the new line. Okay. So let's see what is happening. You see, now the array got printed in a rows and columns format. 951760824953, like this it got printed. So we have to tweak the logic a bit, guys, in order to print this two-dimensional array elements in a tabular kind of row column format. If you want to do that, I have to write this extra logic. Okay, instead of using console.log, process.stdout.write of something console.log. Okay, done. Now we can also do one thing, guys. That is, we can I'll just copy this and create one more file here. 2-d-arrays hyphen 3.js, I'll say, and here paste the array. And here, instead of using the traditional for loop, okay, and also in the traditional for loop, guys, here we are manually writing this 3, right? Instead of 3, how to find how many single dimensional arrays are there in this 2D array? For that, we have to give the array name. The 2D array name we have to give, dot length we have to give. So this will find how many single dimensional arrays are there in this 2D array. Then here, instead of giving 4, we can give air of square bracket, I'll say I. Air of I means the first iteration when I is equal to 0, air of I means air of 0 is this array. In this array, I want to find the length. Like this, we have to find the size. How many single dimensional arrays are there in this 2D array? In that individual single dimensional arrays, how many elements are there? I want to find. Okay. Now clear this and run this code. Still, you should get the same output. Okay. Either you can dynamically give. Okay. Either you can hard code this with some numbers like 3, 4, or you can find them using ar.length. Will find how many single dimensional arrays are there in this 2D array, and ar of I will find out how many elements are there in this in the first iteration when I is equal to 0. Ar of I, ar of 0.length means the first array how many elements are there. Okay. Then when the second iteration when ar of 1 will happen, here how many elements are there in this second single dimensional array. In ar of I dot length for third iteration when I is 2, in this array how many elements are there in this array, it will find it out. Okay, like this, guys, you have to understand. Then next thing, I will go here and instead of using the traditional for loop and all those stuff, I can use for off loop in JavaScript, where you can write like this. First write for, here write down let let's say let I of, okay, let I of AR. Okay, let I of AR or E of AR, whatever you want to write, you can write, guys. Let R of AR. R means row or something. Okay, this is the first row, this is the second row, third row is the third single dimensional array, like that. Let R of AR for each and every row. Okay, then here in that I have to write an inner for each loop again. Here I'll write let element of R. In that first row, what is the first element? 9 is the first element. Will be assigned here. And here I'll write down console.log E. Okay, here I'll print the element. Okay, that's it. This is how we can use for each loop. I already demonstrated, sorry, this is for off loop. I already demonstrated how to work with for off loop with single dimensional arrays. But in case of two dimensional arrays, you have to write nested for off loops. Okay, this is the external for off loop and internal for off loop. Where in the external for off loop, what is happening? Let R of AR means there are how many single dimensional arrays? 3. In that, what is the first one? 9517. That will be assigned to R. Will go inside this. Then for let E of R means in R what are there? 9517. That first element is what? 9. 9 will be assigned to E and go inside the inner for off loop, and E will be printed. That is 9 will be printed. Here 9 will be printed. Here 9 will be printed. After that, in the R remaining elements 517 are there. In that first element will be assigned and 5 will be printed here. Okay. Then in the R, 2 more elements are there. In that first element is 1. 1 will be assigned and 1 will be printed. Then in the R, 7 is there. 7 will be assigned to E and 7 will be printed. Okay. The best loops that we can use with the arrays in JavaScript is for off loops. Instead of traditional for loops, we have to prefer using the for off loops. Then after that, after this 9517 are done, then R, no more elements will come out of the inner for off loop and external for off loop. This array is already over. This first element is already over. There are 2 more arrays in that. The first array 6824 will be assigned to R and will go inside. Let E of R means 6824. In the first element is 6. 6 will be printed here. Then remaining elements 8 will be assigned to E, 8 will be printed here. Then 2, 4, in the first element 2 will be assigned, 2 will be printed. Then only one element, that is 4, 4 will be assigned to E and 4 will be printed. Then no more elements will come out of the inner for of loop. And end of this AR, okay, in this AR only one element, that is last element, that is single dimensional array, last single dimensional array is available, that will be assigned to R and come inside that. Let E of R, in the R we have 8 5 3 9, 8 will be first element, 8 will be assigned to E and 8 will be printed here. Then in the R 5 3 9 is there, in the first element 5 will be assigned and 5 will be printed here. Then R two more elements 3 9, 3 will be assigned and 3 will be printed the first element. Then R only one element, that element will be assigned and 9 will be printed here. Then no more elements will come out of the inner for of loop. And then external for of loop AR, any other elements apart from these three elements we have, no, will also come out of the external for of loop. Okay, now clear this and run this code to see whether we can get the output. You see all the elements are getting printed in a sequential manner, like but I want to get it in a which order, like tabular format. What I have to do, remember the format, right? What I have to write, remember the format, right? We have already done this here. Okay, process dot std out dot write, we have to write. Okay, so let's write this process dot is okay, it's not allowing me to write like that. Process std out. Okay, let me connect this here. Process dot std out dot, okay, write like this. Now it is finding it out. Process.std out dot write, and in that write I'll just write E here. If I comment this part, how the E will be printed, all this 9517 till 9 will be printed in a single line without any space. Just see here what is going to happen. Okay, there is something, that is write will not be able to print numbers. We have to convert that into the string. To string is the next thing we have to do. Okay, to string. Okay, now clear this and run it again. You see now all the numbers of this 2D array are get printed in a single line without even spaces. I want to append spaces, plus concatenation space I'll give, and here I'll write down. You see with spaces it will come. Then next what I will do is, after 9517 I want to go to the new line. Here I'll write console.log without any space. Okay, run this. You see now they got printed in a tabular format, row and column format. Okay, clear guys? There are three rows. Each and every row is a single dimensional array in this 2D array, and in each and every row elements are there. Elements of the array are there. That E we have represented here. You can give anything. That's fine. So this is how, guys, this is how we need to work with 2D arrays in JavaScript. Okay. So 2D arrays are also important, guys. Whenever you are working with programs and all, 2D arrays are also important. So make sure that you all have the knowledge of 2D arrays apart from the single dimensional arrays. Okay. So with this, we are done with 2D arrays, guys. With this, we are done with the 2D arrays. So yeah. So that's all for this session, guys, where I have covered the two-dimensional arrays for you. You don't have to go for the 3D arrays and all. That much complexity is not required, guys. Maximum up to 2D arrays is more than enough in any programming language, even with JavaScript also, this much is enough. So any other things remaining about the arrays, I'm going to cover in the next session, or if no other things are remaining, I'll go with the next topic, okay? So that's all for this session. Thank you. Bye-bye.